this is what we have all been waiting for. Wow, Donald Trump set to launch a massive investigation. Nobody expected him to do this. Donald Trump just revealed exactly how he's making Mexico pay for the wall, and they are petrified. Donald Trump going to war, giving Homeland Security unheard of orders against sanctuary cities. Well, just moments ago, Donald Trump put a stop to Obama's horrible last plan to screw America. Donald Trump just outsmarted Obama and the Democrats with the swipe of a pen. Drain the swamp. Three little words that we love to say here at the Next News Network. Now take a look at how Donald Trump just purged the State Department. Get ready. Here comes the Trump wall. Thanks to this huge thing that Donald Trump did this morning, the wall begins today. Donald Trump just threatened to send the feds into Chicago. He writes he's going to do it if the city does not stop the, quote, carnage of gun violence that has been getting worse and worse every single year. Donald Trump going to war, giving Homeland Security unheard of orders against sanctuary cities. We need to make sure that everybody is aware in these sanctuary cities that the game is over. President Donald Trump's campaign promised to crack down on sanctuary cities that harbor illegal immigrants, or it's okay, you can say illegal aliens. It really is okay. Illegal aliens is taking its next step in the form of an executive order to the Department of Homeland Security. They report that through the executive order titled Enhancing Public Safety in the Interior of the United States, Donald Trump directed Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly to publish a weekly list. A weekly list. Now, before I actually thought it was a quarterly list. This is a weekly list. This is going to put so much pressure on the mayors of these sanctuary cities that they're not going to know what to do. They're going to be so exposed because of their PC liberal garbage that they're going to be removed from office simply by the pressure from the people. They write here, the Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly has ordered them to publish a weekly list of crimes committed by those in the country illegally, as well as any jurisdiction that has failed to honor federal requests to hold illegal immigrants arrested on suspicion of other crimes so they can be processed by immigration and customs enforcement agents. They write here, quote, many aliens who illegally enter the United States and those who overstay or otherwise violate the terms of their visas present a significant threat to national security and public safety. Boom. That's a mic drop right there. That's a mic drop moment right there. Epic. This is particularly so for aliens who engage in criminal conduct in the United States. They write here that the order also directed that federal funds would be withheld from cities and counties that refuse to cooperate with immigration laws and officials. They said that the directive did not specify which funds would be withheld. It provided that only federal funds required for law enforcement purposes would be excluded from the order. So basically, like all these police officers, agencies, county sheriffs, all these law enforcement agencies, they're thumbing their nose at the federal government when it comes to enforcing immigration law, the laws that are on the books. They are going to have their funding cut. Again, that is how the federal government has controlled the states and the counties for a very long time. They write here that both the Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security give various grants to local governments for a range of purposes. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said the order directed the DHS Secretary to look at funding streams that are going to these cities of federal money and figure out how we can defund those streams. Wow. Yeah, this is it. The game is over, friends. The game is over for these sanctuary cities. Rahm, Emmanuel, Chicago, San Francisco, all these cities that think that they can just harbor illegals, especially criminal ones. The game's up. You're put on notice. Well, right after attacking sanctuary cities, take a look and what Miami just did for Donald Trump. The story from Danny Gold, Liberty Writers News, reporting that it is exactly like Donald Trump promised just hours after he signed an executive order to end the billions in federal aid given to sanctuary cities everywhere. One of the biggest of them all just bowed down to him. On Thursday, January 26, 2017, Miami-Dade County became the very first sanctuary city to forfeit their status to appease Donald Trump. Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Gimenez ordered county officials to follow any detainer requests from the Department of Homeland Security, which ask local law enforcement to jail suspects without a warrant until they can be picked up by federal immigration police. Boom! There you go. America getting great again, getting the scum off the street, getting these illegal immigrant lawbreakers deported like they need to be. It's about time somebody enforces these freaking laws around here, right? Donald Trump just revealed exactly how he's making Mexico pay for the wall, and they are petrified. Donald Trump's White House just revealed their new plans to make Mexico pay for the wall. You ready? He is now looking to place a 20% tariff on all Mexican imports. Done. 20% tariff. Bye-bye. Looks like that wall just got 10 feet higher. Remember, Piñeto blew off Donald Trump because he doesn't think that the wall is going to be dignified for Mexico. Oh yeah, you got all that Mexican pride down there? Really? Seriously? No. What you are doing is taking advantage of America's good graces. You're taking advantage of the American corporations. You're taking advantage of the free trade deals. So now, get ready. That tariff's going to pay for that wall. Thank you. They're right here. According to the White House spokesman, Sean Spicer, he says if you tax that $50 billion at 20% of imports, which is, by the way, a practice that 160 other countries already do. Right now, our country's policy is to tax exports and let imports flow freely in, which is ridiculous. By doing it that way, we can do $10 billion a year and easily pay for the wall just through that mechanism alone. That's really going to provide the funding. Well, just moments ago, Donald Trump put a stop to Obama's horrible last plan to screw America. Trump said on Tuesday that he is reviewing an adjustment of former President Obama. They're right here. Obama released more than $220 million to the Palestinian Authority, and it was done just in the wee hours before he left the office. According to TGP, they reported Obama transferred $221 million to the Palestinian authorities. Swade writes, it's like he just spat in the face of America in the last days of the presidency. Mark Toner, they write, is the acting State Department spokesman, and he said that the agency is reviewing the last-minute spending approval by the previous administration and will make adjustments if needed to ensure that it aligns with the priorities of the Trump-Pence administration. Wow. That was certainly a close call. They're right here. Obama almost sent $220.3 million to the Gaza Strip for recovery programs. Congress approved funding for the Palestinians in 2015-2016, but have placed holds on it now. And as you recall, Obama stabbed Israel in the back at the United Nations as well, and now Trump is working to restore. Donald Trump just outsmarted Obama and the Democrats with the swipe of a pen. Mark Luckman for Liberty Writers News reports. So as we have previously reported, he says Donald Trump will begin his work on the construction of the wall he has promised during his campaign. He writes, but what you didn't know is that the Democrats actually helped make it happen, including Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton. They write here that a 2006 law actually authorized the construction of 700 miles of fencing along the Mexican border. George W. Bush signed the bill into law, and the Democrat-controlled Congress stopped the bill in 2008, however. They write, the law was never repealed, though, and that is the law that will authorize the federal government to build the wall. They say here Trump can build the wall because Obama never repealed it. In 2008, they never repealed the law. This means that if Trump and Republicans follow through, top Democrats will find they inadvertently handed Trump the border wall that they're actually opposing. Holy cow. That is insane. He writes, "Sorry, Democrats, you've just been outsmarted by the person you said was incapable of doing the job." Drain the swamp. Three little words that we'd love to say here at the Next News Network. Now take a look at how Donald Trump just purged the State Department. Yes, you can hear the water in the sewer draining from that cesspool where John Kerry used to reside, and of course where Hillary Clinton once held a seat. Danny Gold for Liberty Writers News reports, he says it's kind of funny the establishment elites keep trying to say Trump isn't draining the swamp. After what happened at the State Department today, there can be no doubts. They write this morning, a ton of former top leaders under Obama and Bush quit in a failed attempt to defy Donald Trump. They write here, looking at how the world has been doing lately, he says here, Swade writes, I say good riddance to bad rubbish, and I agree. Any holdovers from the Bush administration, the Obama administration, are nothing but tumors on Washington, D.C., and they need to be cut out. Okay, by any means necessary. If they think they're going to do, oh, we're gonna show you, Donald Trump, we're gonna quit. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Get ready. Here comes the Trump wall. Thanks to this huge thing that Donald Trump did this morning, the wall begins today. Danny Gold for Liberty Writers News reports that Donald Trump promised America a big, beautiful wall with a big, beautiful door on the Mexican border. The Democrats said that he wouldn't deliver. Well, the Mexicans said he wouldn't deliver either. Well, folks, he delivered. Trump has a whole stack of executive orders, they write, ready to sign, including one order for the building of the wall to start immediately. They state here he tweeted out, big day planned on national security. Tomorrow, among many other things, we will build the wall. President Trump is also rolling out a whole host of other executive orders, including federally targeting sanctuary cities that defy immigration laws, a 4-month freeze on all refugee programs, halting visas to people from Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. They said because the Muslim majority countries are terror prone. And they will stop protecting illegal immigrants who arrive in the U.S. as children from deportation. He says that may change. Gold states Donald Trump will still grant some exceptions to non-Muslims fleeing those countries and Islamic persecution. The White House hit with another resignation out of nowhere. Yes, it really happened. This from Fred Maxwell, Western Journalism reports. Only 7 months after being named U.S. Border Patrol Chief, Mark Morgan has vacated his new position, according to a U.S. official. They write here that the announcement comes just one day after President Donald Trump signed an executive order clearing the way for the construction of the wall on the United States southern border. Now, if you ask me, it seems as though Donald Trump, he's just cleaning house. He's cleaning house. The word is that he forced this guy out of his office simply because he's probably not going to fall in line with the new policies of the administration. It will only present a roadblock for the security of this nation. As an Obama appointee, somebody who has lax border policy, certainly this man would be a roadblock. They're right here. Trump signed the order on Wednesday while visiting the Department of Homeland Security. They stated that during his visit, the president told the agents, this is a law enforcement agency, but for too long your offices and agents haven't been allowed to properly do their jobs. And that is because of the failed immigration policy and border policy of the Bush administration, the Clinton administration, the Obama administration, all the administrations beforehand, with their porous, free trade, open borders. They write, he assured them that from that point on, things were going to be different. He said, from here on out, I'm asking all of you to enforce the laws of the United States of America. He said, a nation without borders is not a nation. The boys are back in town. Donald Trump just threatened to send the feds into Chicago. If you don't know, now you know. Paris Swade for Liberty Writers News reports that President Trump went right at Chicago tonight. He just threatened to send in the feds. He writes he's going to do it if the city does not stop the, quote, carnage of gun violence that has been getting worse and worse every single year. Donald Trump put out the statement on Twitter. He said if Chicago doesn't fix the horrible carnage going on, 228 shootings in 2017, with 42 killings, up 24% from 2016, I will send in the feds. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like, but Rahm better be listening. He says, that's right. Paris writes, he says, that's right. Trump is about to fix Chicago. This is the one thing Obama could never do, and Obama would never speak of. Isn't that strange? With Obama's own town, he wouldn't even talk about the death and carnage left in the wake of Rahm Emanuel. They're right, there has been a 5.5% increase in 2017 compared to 2016, with 42 homicides. They write that's up 23.5% since the same time in 2016. Now, Paris surmises he believes that all the liberals are about to freak out because Trump wants to clean up America's worst city. With one epic move, President Trump just banned immigrants from these 7 countries. Danny Gold for Liberty Writers News reports, this is what we have all been waiting for. Donald Trump has finally taken the most important step to fight blank by issuing a blanket ban on all immigrants and refugees from these dangerous Middle Eastern countries. Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, and Sudan, as well as Yemen. They write here his ban on Syria will ban all U.S. states from taking in Syrian refugees for the foreseeable future. Will also make taking in refugees much harder until we have a more intensive vetting process. As you recall, the FBI director, when the discussion on the Hill turned to the vetting process itself, he actually said we cannot properly vet the refugees. Of course, that meant nothing to Obama, that meant nothing to Hillary, and they said that they would continue to take in hundreds of thousands of refugees. Now, Donald Trump, of course, taking note of that statement and saying we're going to find out how to vet these people. But until then, no one is coming in. There is that according to the Daily Mail, to block entry from the designated countries, Trump is likely to instruct the U.S. State Department to stop issuing visas to people from those nations. That is according to sources familiar with the visa process. They said he could also instruct U.S. Customs and Border Protection to stop any current visa holders from those countries from entering the United States. Gold writes, sounds like a pretty solid plan. It certainly does. Seems like it's pretty cut and dry as well. With one move, boom, shut it down. Shut it down. Wow. Donald Trump set to launch a massive investigation. Nobody expected him to do this. According to Jack Davis at Western Journalism, he reports that after months of debate over the level of voter fraud taking place in America, President Donald Trump has said it's time to get to the bottom of the controversy. They write that on Wednesday, Trump announced on Twitter that he will order an investigation into voter fraud that took place during the 2016 presidential election. Wow. They write Trump has voiced his belief that between 3 and 5 million people voted illegally in the election. So you're going to find out real soon, after this investigation is done, that all of those illegals were phony votes from Democrats trying to steal the election for Hillary. And it's going to make the Democrats go crazy. It's going to destroy their party even more. Quote, I will be asking for a major investigation into voter fraud, including those registered to vote in 2 states, those who are illegal, and even those registered to vote who are dead, and many for a long time. Depending on results, we will strengthen up our voting procedures, Trump said in a pair of tweets. He said, I will be asking for major investigation into voter fraud. Trump tweeted, in addition to winning the Electoral College in a landslide, I won the popular vote if you deduct the millions of people who voted illegally. If you ask me, it's an act of treason. Remember that Secret Service agent we told you about? Well, now she's being investigated for what she said that she would do to Donald Trump. According to Conservative Tribune, they report that this Secret Service agent's Facebook endorsement of Hillary Clinton before last November's election was drawing fire after she said she would not take a bullet for Donald Trump were he elected. Now on Tuesday, the Washington Examiner posted the October post by Carrie O'Grady. There she is on the left, obviously. She's a Secret Service agent in charge of the Denver district. They write that in it, she said that she would rather go to jail than protect President Trump. As stated, this is her quote, "As a public servant for nearly 23 years, I struggle not to violate the Hatch Act," O'Grady wrote, referring to the legislation that prevents federal employees from using their position to influence elections. "So I keep quiet and skirt the median. To do otherwise can be a criminal offense for those in my position. Despite that fact, I'm expected to take a bullet for both sides." She continues, "But this world has changed, and I have changed, and I would take jail time over a bullet or an endorsement for what I believe to be a disaster to this country and the strong and amazing women and minorities who reside here." O'Grady oversaw the coordination with Washington-based advance teams for all presidential candidate and presidential trips to the area, including all upcoming or future trips by the president, vice president, or Trump administration officials. So that means even during the election, she had a position to protect the candidates, including Trump. So even at that moment, she was leaving Trump vulnerable to assassination while on the campaign trail, were he to pass through Denver.